Okay, we are live there.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome on this beautiful spring day. Just want to make everyone aware that this is May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month. And just want to draw attention to that everyone's mental health is always very important, and it's important to look out for our neighbors and our friends, and help to create awareness, advocacy, and to help to end the stigma around mental health. And with that, I'll read the statement. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Lawrence Township Council being held on Tuesday, May 20th, 2025, has been provided through the posting of the annual meeting schedule of said council in accordance with Section 13 of the Open Public Meetings Act. Said notice was forwarded to the Trentonian, the Times, and the Princeton Packet on December 19th, 2024. We'll now have an inspiration.
May we carry out our work at this meeting in a just, honorable, and sincere manner, always bearing in mind our duties and continuing to keep Lawrence a wonderful community in which to live. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, you can call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt?
Here.
Mr. Kanaki?
Here.
Ms. Perry?
Here.
Ms. Sanchez?
Here.
Mayor Farmer?
Here. Okay. Now, moving on, special proclamations, recognitions, and presentations. I don't believe we have any, but we will have a brief update from the Mayor's Task Force on the Community Center by Reverend Jeff Ramos.
Good evening, council members and mayor and manager and staff. My name is Jeff Vamus. I live actually next to the Presbyterian Church of Lawrenceville on Main Street, next to the prep school. So I am the pastor. My name is Jeff Vamus. I'm the pastor of the Presbyterian Church of Lawrenceville. And it's been my honor to have been selected, asked by Mayor Patricia Farmer, to serve on the Mayor's Task Force on the Lawrence Community Center. And so my colleagues on that task force are our chair, Chris Woolley, Martha Friend, Olga Martinez, Nancy Rivera, Louisa Robinson, Heather Berman, David Spalding, and Mayor Patricia Farmer. We also added, per your directive, I believe at your last council meeting, Billy Chester and Bonnie Giglio, so that we could be even more comprehensive in our representation of interests within the township. So I know you've heard this before, but in case there are some who haven't heard what the charge for our task force is, I'm going to read that. The Mayor's Task Force was created to advise the Township Council on the concerns and priorities of Lawrence residents with respect to the community center, review and refine the mission statement and long-term vision of the center, engage the community to ensure decisions reflect collective needs and aspirations, and preserve the center's legacy as a vital, inclusive space for all Lawrence Township residents. We've taken that task, I think, very, very seriously, especially the task of listening to the township. That has really been the focus of our work thus far. We have been on a listening tour, and we've employed various modes of collecting data and listening to community input, including emails, flyers, newspaper articles, radio segments. I believe we had a podcast in there too somewhere, individual and group meetings, a community survey, and our work, sort of the pinnacle of our work was last week, last Tuesday, May 13, when we had a large community meeting. Many of you were there. I think we felt very good about that. I do believe that we felt good about the turnout and that it was broadly representative of the diversity of Lawrence Township. And so the next step really is to sift all the data that we have received. And we've received a lot. I want to commend our chair, Chris, who's been really just intrepid in his effort to make sure, and really facilitating our collective effort to make sure that everybody's voice is heard. So everybody who spoke at that meeting last week, their voice has been cataloged. Chris has asked for them to, in email, in written form, sort of express their feedback. All of that is being saved, again, cataloged, and it will be analyzed. We thought we would have to pay for this, but in my line of work, we call this providence. Someone at the end of that meeting came forward, a PhD sociologist who volunteered to do an analysis for us of all of that data, both quantitative and qualitative. So quantitative will be about the data, the hard data from that survey that includes demographic information, people's preferences about what kinds of programming they want to see, but also we'll analyze the narrative data and sort of for themes that occur in that data as well. It's called qualitative analysis as well. Now we set a goal, I'm going to say goal, of June 4 to make our report. There were some on the team who felt like that was really unrealistic. I think at this point there's a consensus that that's not realistic if we were to do a job that is adequate to give you some solid analysis and information with which to make a decision about how the community center will be used by the community in the future. So we're not sure when we're going to have a report to submit to you, but we do hope that it will be certainly a quality one. I think that's all I have. I don't know if there are any questions to be asked or if I'm adequate to answer them, but I'll stay up here until you tell me to sit down.
No, I think that is good. Thank you so much, Reverend Ramos, for your update. If there's anyone, I know that we all were actually present at the community meeting, including our manager as well. So we did have good representation of the council there at the meeting. And we thank you. And also we thank the volunteer who has stepped up, and that's a tremendous contribution to the work that's being done. So once again, thank you. And also thank you to Chris, who I see in Dr. Wilson. And Martha, recognize her as well, who's in the audience. Okay, with that, opening up for public participation, if there are any comments from the audience.
It can be about something different?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've made that mistake. Good evening, Martha Friend, 976 Lawrenceville Road. So I'm here with my Lawrence Neighbors Together t-shirt on to share something that I'd like to be put in the record and to make you aware of our next big event, which is the Lawrence Pride Fest Fun Run Walk and Roll. That's going to be held, unfortunately, on Father's Day, or maybe it's a good thing. That's the date we got at the Lawrence Shopping Center. So not just here to share about that, but I think there's something that's important that I'd like to share about it, which is we got a letter. I received a letter from Governor Murphy giving some kudos about this event happening here in Lawrence. When my son joined the New Jersey National Guard, I sent him a letter thanking him proactively for taking good care about where he sends the troops. And so he and I have been in touch a little bit. So I asked him about this and he very kindly, his staff, sent off a letter. So I'd just like to read it, it's very short. June 15th. Dear friends, on behalf of the state of New Jersey, I am pleased to extend greetings to everyone gathered for the Lawrence Pride Fest, hosted by Lawrence Neighbors Together. This celebration is an opportune time to recognize the impact of the LGBTQ+ community, the impact they have had not only in Lawrence Township, but the Garden State itself. I'm proud to be governor of such a diverse state, with events like this serving as important reminders to celebrate the birth of the modern LGBTQ+ movement and diversity of all New Jerseyans. I applaud the township for their dedication to celebrating this diversity and unity within their community, and commend everyone in attendance for honoring the achievements and contributions of the LGBTQ+ community. Best wishes for a successful and memorable event. That's what I wanted to share. I hope to see everybody.
Okay, seeing none, no other public participation, oh, come forward. Jeff.
Sorry. Good evening. I have a few things just
Need her
in
name.
case.
You just say your name and your address.
180 Franklin Corner Road. I have a few things in case you guys would like to just see.
You pass it to the clerk.
Councilperson Bobbitt knows that I'm a passionate advocate. I would like to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to participate in the Lawrence Alcohol and Drug Alliance as a voluntary board member. I grew up in Lawrence Township. I graduated from Lawrence High School. After I raised my children, I returned to Lawrence Township because I consider this my home from when I was a young girl. I've spent my life professionally and privately advocating for members of my community. During these countless interactions, I've discovered a staggering knowledge deficit existing in our community. Substance use disorder, mental health issues, alcohol, tobacco, and gambling, just to name a few. Prevention resources and treatment opportunities are difficult to access without information. It's my mission to provide meaningful, evidence-based facts to our residents in a compassionate and non-judgmental way. The stigma of these public health crises has to end. It's hurting our residents and our children. Our kids are in school for 13 years, K through 12, and I believe it's still probably a marking period per year that they get for health education. That marking period is also split between multiple topics. Our teachers have so many things that they need to teach, and this gets missed a lot of times. And they rely on internet, friends, and things like that for information, and families don't necessarily know. So I want to thank you again for the opportunity to serve Lawrence Township in this capacity.
Thank you, Ms. Mack, for that. Appreciate it. It's very important, and again, this being Mental Health Awareness Month, this falls right in line with the education portion. I know that you've been doing some of that in the community, so I want to thank you and recognize you for your work and for volunteering. Okay, seeing no other public participation at this time. Review and revision of the agenda. Do you have anything? Okay. If we then could have a motion.
Sorry, do we need an executive session or should I?
Wouldn't do that this month or next month. Chris.
No.
No, we have nothing tonight. Thank
We
you.
have nothing for executive session. Okay, perfect. And if I can have a motion for the adoption of minutes of the previous meeting.
Mayor, if I may, I'll move 8A, the regular meeting of February 4th, 2025.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. If you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Ms. Santos,
Abstain.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes. Okay, the awarding and production of bids. Do you have anything in there? No. We'll go right to the introduction of ordinances. Number 11, ordinance number 2492-25.
Oh, Mayor, did you want me to move the adoption of ordinances?
Yes, if you
Okay.
would like to.
Apologies. If I may, I'll move 11A, ordinance number 2492-25, ordinance appropriating $3,022,500 from the capital improvement fund for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Lawrence in the County of Mercer, New Jersey.
Second.
You have a second?
Second.
Okay. And if there can have an explanation.
Very briefly, this is a two-step process in order for the township to purchase capital items. And the first process was the passing of the budget. The second part is this ordinance that will help fund the purposes that were identified in the budget. So we're just seeking approval to move forward. And once the purposes are satisfied, you'll have another opportunity to vote on it.
Is there any public participation? Okay, seeing none. Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Ms. Centos,
Yes.
Mayor Farland.
Yes.
I'll move 11B, ordinance number 2493-25, ordinance providing for various road improvements, mill and overlay, including all working materials, in and by the Township of Lawrence in the County of Mercer, New Jersey, appropriating $2,497,825 in capital improvement funds.
Do we have a second?
Second?
With a motion and second, is there any public participation for this item? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, if you could call the.
Mayor, just let me just get,
Mr.
just
Blaine.
for the record, this is just a part of our road improvement program we do annually, and this sets us up to allow for the work as designated in the ordinance for the streets for mill and overlay work.
Thank you, Manager. Again, is there any public participation at this time? Okay. Seeing none. Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Ms. Centos,
Yes.
Mayor Farland.
Yes.
I'll move 11C, ordinance number 2494-25, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2473-24, salary ordinance of the Township of Lawrence, unclassified and/or exempt seasonal emergency non-union employees for 2023 to 2025.
Do we have a second?
Second?
And if we have an explanation.
Yeah, we have three aspects to this. The first is we have had an open position within our finance department with regard to a treasurer in the hopes of a succession planning for when our CFO retires. We had a treasurer at one point in time. That individual left, took an opportunity as a CFO in another town. Happens. Since that time, we've been actively trying to work with New Jersey Civil Service. No one sat for the exam for treasurer, so there's no candidates for that position. But in trying to buttress our financial department, we, under civil service, we seek to add the title of auditor accountant trainee, entry-level position, getting this person in, maybe a recent college graduate with a business degree in accounting that could work from within and hopefully, rise through the ranks and serve the town in various capacities. So we're hoping that could solve some of our issues in terms of workforce.
Okay.
The second aspect is we're just simply adding the VIP uniform allowance compensation and the volunteer deputy chief stipend. It's something that's already been approved. This is a housekeeping item to include it into the ordinance.
Okay.
And the third thing is to adding the title of American with Disability Act ADA coordinator. Federal law requires each municipality to designate an individual to serve in that capacity. And we want to add that to the ordinance and satisfy our obligation with regard to it. That would involve a $5,000 stipend to the individual that will be appointed.
Manager Nowinski, what is the length of the appointment, annually or?
It doesn't really have a, until
Okay,
replacement, yeah,
doesn't
there's no term involved in it.
Any other questions from the council? Okay. Any questions from the public? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbit,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Ms. Centos,
Yes.
Mayor Vernon.
Yes.
I'll move 11D, ordinance number 2495-25, an ordinance amending the consolidated license, permit, and fee chapter of the Lawrence Township Administrative Code.
Do we have a second?
Second?
And if we could have an explanation.
Yeah, this adds a registration fee of $50 for the state law that mandates New Jersey municipalities to register landlords and collect insurance certificates for the rental properties. This is an added responsibility taken on by our clerk's office, and the fee is appropriate for the time involved in handling upwards of 3,000 rental properties. The second aspect memorializes the $20 fee for return checks for tax payments to the tax collector. It's been a policy, we're just formalizing it. with the ordinance. It's fine, because most of the time, it's waived, so.
All right. Is there any comment from the public? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbit,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Ms. Centos,
Yes.
Mayor Vernon.
Yes. And the last ordinance on the agenda.
I'll move 11E, Mayor, ordinance number 2496-25, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2418-22, establishing rates for sewer service.
Do we have a second?
Second?
Okay.
All this does is add additional language to the ordinance stating that the current billing shall be based on the previous metered water consumption at the property as reported by the water company. It just provides an additional instruction to individuals that have concerns about their current charges so that they know it's based upon prior readings.
Okay, any comments from the public? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.